Motorsports! Hoorah!
All right, we have some sweet stuff that came in the mail. Care package from Carburetor 223 Cycles. All the stuff that we talked about getting the cables and everything. So let's go look in the box. So, surprise, surprise, he threw in this new shift lever. This will work for the Big Red and the 250SX. And mine is really bent. I tried to bend it back, and we're gonna slap this new one on. It's gonna be sweet. We have, throttle cable. He threw that in too, nice. We got the rear brake cable. We got, that's the choke slide, spring and everything that goes down by the carburetor. Here's the, I call it the dress-up kit. Just got all the GIS screws and the vent tubing to go onto the carburetor. In case if your screws are stripped out, whatnot, he does sell these on the website. This is the bendable idle adjustment that goes on the bottom of the carb, or meant for it goes on a 350X carb, but it will work. Just have to tap the one hole for the mount onto the carb, and it works a lot better. We're gonna continue to show you guys how that is mounted. This is the rear brake cable for the hand, and this is the reverse cable. So all of this stuff you can purchase at 223cycles.net. Hit out the website. Curdy, thank you so much for putting this up for the 250SX. This thing's going to be awesome in the end. I already have a carb kit in the carburetor from his website. It's all mounted, ready to go. But the dress-up kit's going to make it look a lot better. The idle adjustment's going to be so much better to use. Instead of being on the side right by the header pipe down here, it's going to make it go onto the other side. All new cables, reverse cable, throttle cable, brake cable. This is going to be awesome. Cannot wait to get this thing done and ready to go for Trikefest. We got some tubes that came in the mail as well. We're going to get some tubes in these tires mounted. The gas tank is lined. It is not the greatest job I've done. I messed up a little bit. A little runny inside. But honestly, feeling inside there, it's nice and solid. Been sitting there for about 3 to 4 days. I'm gonna let it sit longer. It says about 96 hours is when you want to put fuel into it. But the tank is lined. That's another thing off the checklist. We'll get all this new stuff from 223 Cycles onto the 250SX. We're just keeping on trucking. This is awesome. I'm really happy to get all this stuff in the mail and get this thing looking good. Another quick update. Decided to put the headlight guard on. It was a little bit tweaked. I'm guessing they got rolled and twisted a little bit. So luckily, like for this homemade, this headlight guard not Honda line. It's homemade. It's made out of, not tube steel like the Honda line racks and everything else. It's solid steel. So it's a little bit more sturdier, but it was a little bit tweaked. Still kind of is, but I'll run with it. I don't mind it. And it looks pretty good. Like I said, it's not exact Honda line, but it looks close enough, and so it looks sweet with the front rack and the rear rack mounted on it too. So I decided to mock up the headlight guard and the front rack. I'm not fully done with the front rack. It's got these homemade clamps for it. When I had it on, so it's missing one. When I had it on, it was moving around a lot because, of course, missing one. I had the headlight guard mounted, and come to find out, the way this is designed is the bar has to go behind the headlight guard in order to work. So I had to take the headlight guard back off to put the front rack back on. I got the exhaust pipe off finally. I ended up drilling out the bolts for the guard and just pounding the muffler off. Muffler and header are decent shape. Just need to be cleaned up and painted. This one will have to re-drill and tap the holes for the plate. They had to cover up a spot right there. That's just some Permatex muffler weld stuff. I'll put on there as a small hole. That's the only really pinhole I found in the whole entire muffler. Usually these things are just rotted out completely. So this is where the exhaust was leaking at right there. It's a hole in that tab. And all the cables are ran, except for the front and the choke. Rear brake cables are ran. You can tell this one's a little tall. This one is a little bit, the hand one, a little bit tall as well. But all aftermarket cables are going to be longer than what the stock ones are. Don't know why that is. It's an everlasting battle with all brake cables. So I got a little bit of adjusting to do with that. Anyways, when it comes time, the new throttle cable is ran. Just need to hook up to the carb. When the carb is done, I got the new wheel studs in. I got the rear brake back on. And so I think my next step, I'm gonna get the front fender mounted and then probably start working on the carburetor, getting the carburetor all put back together, put that back in. Then I can put the gas tank back on. Well, I gotta wait till the choke cable gets here first. Then I can put the carburetor back in. All right, so man's last night to get the rest of the stuff put on, the front tire and everything. It's looking good in the front end, except for when you look this way. The front rack is a little twisted. Right here, you're looking straight at the three-wheeler. And look at that tire. It is way pointing the wrong direction. Looking straight in the three-wheeler. Look where that tire is pointing. Yeah. So that tells me front end's a little twisted. I don't know what my luck is with twisted front ends. Dealt with this in my last Big Red. So my guess is, because I have 2 straight forks on it now, my guess is the triple trees, I guess, are twisted. So luckily I have a parts machine that hopefully is not twisted. That means I gotta take this front end off again. I'll take everything off and swap the trees. It's gonna suck. I just got everything done, but I don't know.
Buck up, little camper. We'll beat that together.
Okay, I managed to get this swapped over in a half hour. I took the other one off the parts machine. This is the bottom part of the tree from the parts machine. Way nicer condition as far as paint and rust than the old one. I used the old ball bearings that were inside it. We'll see if that will work. Okay. Let's put that together, and it is a lot better. A lot better than what it was, I'll say that. I mean, the bars are bent. I'm kind of going off by the dash and the headlight. Those are the more accurate things, straight with the frame. And you look at the middle of the tire, and it's better than what it was. Probably can't see it on camera as good as in person. The rack is bent still, so don't pay no attention to the rack. I am gonna live with that. So everything back together, and it's looking a lot better. Okay, time to put the car back together. We are gonna start with bendable idle adjustment that we're gonna put on. So usually this goes on a 350X, possibly some other carb as well. And it is legit Honda parts. You can purchase these at his website. Because we all know when you're adjusting your idle, the screw comes in and out right here on this side. It's right by the muffler. And you put your hand close to there and you can burn yourself and it becomes a big pain in the butt. Well, what this bendable idle adjustment does, goes inside the threaded area there, bends over the bottom to reach to the other side where it's open, and it's much easier because you got the slotted in there for a flat slot screwdriver if you don't want to use your fingers to adjust it. So we're going to start by putting that sucker on there. You do have to drill a hole out for the mounting. Curry said 5 millimeters is what you're going to have to tap the hole to. I believe it's going to be this one. I'd have to look at the picture, but you do have to tap the hole for the mounting bracket. Okay, I had to stop the video just because I am amazed. But wow, just the packaging that you get with this whole kit right here It's a 21-piece JS screw and vent tubing kit for, as you see, 250ES, 250SX. I mean, look at individually packaged, labeled, with the cheat sheet right there to tell you which screw goes where. How many times have you wondered what screw goes where in a carburetor and you're not totally sure? And shout out to our sponsor for having some good quality products like that. All new screws in the top there. Comes with the vent hoses. I decided to use just the hole that's already in the bowl there for the hose, and then comes with these two 3D printed plastic hose holders there for the other side. I used both of them just in case the one doesn't break. I just put both of them on there. So there's two of these on there. So now I'm going to start to put the idle adjustment on, and it's kind of funny. So this body is pretty similar to the 350X style, which has this bendable idle adjustment. It's already got the hole and the notch there to put this on there. You can see the two holes right there. I had to tap that hole 5mm, and look at that, fits right in there. Put the screw in. That's your cable gets routed to. Okay, quick guide to how this actually gets installed. You're gonna have two of these nylon washers right here. One goes on the outside, then you got the bracket, then the one on the other side, and then you got that circlip. You got that circlip on the end to hold it all into the bracket. My suggestion, and then you got the spring and the washer. Do not put the bracket onto the carb. Screw it in to where it needs to go in right there. Then bend it over and put it onto the carb. A lot easier, else you're gonna sit there and just crank it and it's gonna be a lot of tension. Screw it into the carb first, then mount the bracket to the carb.
Bring up the holy hand grenade.
You too can rebuild your carb just like how Curdy does. Lots of cleaning, order all the screws and parts that you need for these things, and it'll look just like this. Though he does polish them up and whatnot, but man, this is going to be a good looking carb on the SX. Got that red cover. I really like the red cover on it. It's got the new idle adjustment on the bottom there. All the new screws and everything. This thing looks mint. Thank you, Curdy. Carburetor is back in, and it's the shiniest part in the whole machine. Look at that. Wow, look at this. It is looking more like a three-wheeler again. Phew. So what we do, carburetor's back in. All the cables and everything are ran up. I got the gas tank on. I got the new key-in Honda OEM petcock on, brand new. You can still order from Honda. Got the fuel filter in place. Gas tank's mounted back onto the machine. The exhaust is painted. So I got the guard and the header pipe there. I got the muffler right there painted as well. So we are getting somewhere. See what it does. Cranks over fast. Woo! That sounded cool. Okay, the exhaust is back on. Starts up and sounds good. The tires are mounted. Shout out to Jeremy, Performance Motorsports in Holland, Michigan, for getting those mounted for me. Awesome guy to deal with. I am ready to get these things mounted. Did notice though, one tire, this one's good. This one has some cracking going on. Can't see the tube from through the cracks, so I'm gonna have to watch my riding on this one. Oh, bad news on the tires. The tube is popped in that one. I don't know how or where. It's leaking from somewhere inside. Sucks because it's all three matching tires, but I do have a spare. I have this old Pro Vector that I still can use. This tire, when it's mounted, will be mounted on the front, and then that one is going to go to the rear to match that one. think Nick likes the SX. What do you think?
Pretty sweet. Way more comfortable than the Big Red.
Yeah, I like it a lot more than the Big Red.
I like it.
All right, the SX is done. Here we go. So let's go over it. So when we got it, this thing had a lot of dirty stuff on it. It was caked with mud and sand, dirt and stuff. Had OHTSU Pro wedges with wheel spacers on the rear. Headlight guard was not mounted. Racks were mounted. That was about it. Found some OHTSU Pro Vector 301s. The two that are mounted in the rear are from that set. This is the old Pro Vector that's supposed to go on a 200X. It's a older model Pro Vector. It's not a Pro Vector 301 or PV 301. It's just a Pro Vector. I know they're not the ideal tires to have, especially for a rider, but they'll do for now. I love the look of it. We got the rear rack, the CMP rear rack mounted onto there, bolted straight to the frame. Yes, I know. These are not Honda line. You can argue with me all you want why I put the Honda line stickers on there, because it looks cool. And they are close. The racks and the rack and headlight guard is close to being Honda line. The Honda line ones have the grill insert that actually is removable. The front rack is supposed to have little things welded on the bottom there for strap points. And on the Honda line has 2 bars here. This one has 3. Homemade. It'll do. I like the look of it. Even the CMP one. I like the look of the CMP one. It's a little bit smaller. The Honda line one, and it goes all the way around there. I kind of like just that small back bar back there. The only downside is the Honda line does have knobs there where you can remove the rear rack easier. This one, you have to bolt straight to it. Front forks are rebuilt from parts from 223 Cycles. I used Maxima fork oil. I believe I used 15 weight for those. All new brake cables, throttle cable, reverse cable. That's all from 223 Cycles as well. Air filter. You can get all that stuff from there. So it's got all new brake cables. Mainly all the cables are brand new. Exhaust has been painted and patched up. Had a couple little spots where I had to fill some holes in. But it looks good. I went with the gloss look with the exhaust. It doesn't look too bad rather than the flat. Still missing a trailer hitch. Probably just run with the Big Red one for now until I can never find a Honda line 250SX hitch. Yes, they are around. They have a little bit different design compared to the Big Red style. New battery bracket on there, new battery. We changed out the diff fluid in the rear, so it's got new diff fluid. Cleaned out the brakes front and rear. Ended up lining the tank with PR15. Put a new Honda Key-in petcock on there. Carburetor has been rebuilt with parts from 223 Cycles. Something else you might notice too, some new decals are on this. I already showed the front rack ones, so I got what's supposed to be the Honda line front rack decals to go in the front. I put the Honda line one there and there. I don't think they're supposed to go there, but I like it. It's cool. The side decals are new. The stripes are new in the rear. The warning operator only is new. And this tank decal. Of course, these two as well. The emissions sticker is new, and as well as the tag on the frame. Now, what's cool and really awesome about this place, I got all these decals from Blue Line Graphics or BlueLineDecals.com. It's a really easy site to use. You go on, pick your machine, what year, what model, and you can choose and pick what certain decal you have. Bruce does an awesome job of copying the originals to look exactly like they are. The material does not fade. They do not peel off. Really strong material. It's awesome. Someday I'll end up doing the tank decals Probably will paint the tank just to cover up some of the little things on there, but I'll end up doing the tank decal someday when it comes time. But with the tag on the frame, if you look at your tag, or if it's not there, if you know the build date, mine was made in 8 of 1984, so August of 84. You can put that in on the website and they'll print off that decal for you. Original fenders, the only cracks that are in it are in the front right here. They are known to crack in these spots if they get twisted or if you roll it. I did some plastic welding, as in plastic welding clips to hold that all in. If you want to know or learn how to use or how to do plastic welding or the clips, go to MRC Builds on YouTube. He does a great tutorial video of how to do it. That's where I go to look to see as a reference to see how to do it. Check out his channel, check out all his other videos. Original rear fenders, the flares, everything's all original to it. 250SX rear fenders are known to have cracks right here, like stress cracks from if they do end up, you roll it and crack, they crack right in this area. This one doesn't even have them. It does have some sun fading because this had a bunch of Michigan ORV stickers stuck on the sides there, so it does have some sun fading from over the years. The oldest sticker that was on there was from 1991, and it went from 91, 92 and on. Aftermarket switch that still works. I've got a lot of good positive reviews about these switches so far. My last video about this SX, a guy went to the link, ordered one for his SX, and says it works. So there's 2 positive reviews so far on this. I know a lot of guys say you have to rewire them. The only issue I have though, yes, the choke does lock in place like an 86 or 87 style, where the 85s move freely. That's why they changed it in 86, because it would move a lot. It does not have a slot in there to put the clip if you have a new choke cable. See how this choke cable has the little slots in there to hold it in? I probably just messed it up, but it does not have the slot in there so you can slide your little clip in like 86, 87 style. So I just had this little tie that I put there to kind of hold it in place, doesn't go too far. New seat cover from Pit Replica. I did the seat cover myself. I could have added a little bit more foam in the front, but I've had a lot of good positive reviews on this from people saying that I did a pretty dang good job. So like I said, this thing is mostly complete for now. It's a good rider, and she is ready for Trikefest. We're gonna be heading down to Trikefest at the end of the month. Cannot wait to keep ripping this thing. I had a lot of fun the other night at Nick's house riding around. Love the feel and the power of a 250SX. Even though it's got the same motor as the Big Red, but geared a little bit higher. It's a lighter machine, fun to bomb around on. But just need the taillight lens to come in. We can put the taillight on, and we are all set to go from there. So thank you to everyone that helped with this build, I guess, or preservation, not necessarily restoration or anything like that. But thanks to everyone that helped out with all the parts on this thing. Can't thank you guys enough. Thank you for all the positive feedback on how it looks. That's all I have for this video, everyone. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram and Facebook.